Thank you for joining me here at 60 Northbound. Today I'd like to take a little time to talk about something that we all have heard so much about in the media. Tariffs. Yes, I want to touch upon tariffs. I do not want to get too political. That is not the point of this. I don't want to make this video so long that you're bored to tears, but maybe a little explanation on what tariffs are and how we have been wonderful neighbors to our partners to the south, the Americans. First off, I want to tell you that a tariff is a tax charged on goods brought into a country from another country. And that's pretty good. Some people don't like that word tax, but I think that's a pretty neat way of explaining it. And of course, we've all heard about this 50% tax or tariff that the American people will charge on goods made in Canada. Now, many people say, I don't care, it won't bother me. It may bother you, even though you think it doesn't. There are people out there that will lose their jobs. There are companies that may go bankrupt because the trading partner is the United States. So it will indirectly affect us all because of the economy. So just to give you an idea, as is if we sell, let's just say $100 US, so keep it in US dollars, $100 US item to an importer in the United States, he has to pay $150 US for that item. Is he going to want to buy it from you? You're only selling for $100, but he has to pay $150. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, what a lot of Americans don't understand is that if he does buy that item from you at $150 US, you have to sell it to a store or something for at least say $160, and that store will have to sell it for $170. If someone, we want to make profits here. Stores want to make profits, importers want to make profits, everything. So it is not unreasonable to think that it's going to be very difficult for us to sell our goods to our American friends. And I do say friends, and I don't take that word lightly. They are friends. They have been friends forever. They're our neighbors. They agree on a lot of the same things we do. Obviously, we do have some differences, and that is fine. That the president wants to maybe change some things or take over some power with respect to languages and with respect to who we can trade with. Whether you agree on that stuff or not, that should be dictated in Canada by our Canadian Prime Minister or the government in general. I do want to think back to something that was referred to as the Canadian Caper. This began in 1979, went into 1980, and I remember it well. I'm sure many of you do as well. This is when there were 6 Americans that had worked in the embassy, the American embassy in Iran. They went to the Canadian embassy seeking refuge after their embassy was not liked by Iran. And we took them in. We took in these Americans. We provided Canadian passports. We educated them on the areas where they were from. Apparently, some say they were a film crew. Some say many other different things about who they were or how we explained it. But nonetheless, we took them in. We provided them with Canadian passports, and we helped them leave Iran at a time that was a little precarious. Because we're friends, we're neighbors. That's what we do. Operation Yellow Ribbon, on September 11th of 2001, many of us will remember that, when the Twin Towers in New York went down. because of a terrorist attack by plane. 38 planes were diverted to Gander. That was 6,600 people. The area, that was what the area was, so it doubled in size. They stayed there for 4 to 5 days. Most of these people were Americans, and we were very happy to help out. And even before the 2 instances that I talked about many years before, wars and so on, and so, we were there. And even since, we've been there. Major fires, hurricanes, disasters, we have been there to help our neighbor, because neighbors help neighbors. Some of us may remember the NAFTA, which was the North American Free Trade Agreement. This involved the 3 North American countries, Canada, United States, and Mexico. It made it just easier and cheaper to trade between the companies. Most tariffs were eliminated, but they weren't eliminated immediately. It went over a period of time. And yes, some people didn't respect or appreciate NAFTA, and that is okay. No matter what is put out there, you will never get 100% consensus. And then, in July of 2020, CUSMA, Canada-US-Mexico Agreement, came about. Now, many have said this is just a NAFTA 2.0. Others don't agree. And of course, our neighbors to the south do not like to call it CUSMA because that puts Canada first. They call it the USMCA, United States, Mexico, Canada Agreement. Whatever, however you want to put it. We were working together. 2 countries who border each other, our neighbors, our friends, have so much in common. And this is what happens. Now, the president himself, he didn't create the power that allows him to do these tariff increases as he will. Congress has given the president authority for these tariffs. Now, this is even before the whole situation. So it's not something new because of the current president. But he has, he has power to do whatever he wants with the tariffs if there is concern for national security. Now, we heard that a little while ago, didn't we? Of the fentanyl issue. Well, Americans, if any Americans listening, please Google. There's far more drugs coming into Canada from the States than from Canada to the States. But nonetheless, that was one of the concerns, and I think the president put that as a national security risk. Unfair foreign trade practices. So if a president deems that some trade practice is unfair, he has the right to do that. So Congress has given this right to the president because it really belongs in Congress. But nonetheless, it is what it is. Now we're faced with this. We're faced with this 50% tax tariff. And it is going to affect us. It's going to affect many industries. I'm hoping that we are all aware of this and that we understand a little bit more about tariffs after this video. Please, as always, nice having you around. Please subscribe, press like, or share if you'd like others to see this video. Thank you.